Well, hey y'all, Silas here. You can call me Si. Just sitting out on the front porch of the cabin out at Morningside. Getting done from a hard day of working in the fields, and I figure every now and then a body needs a rest. And what better way to take a rest than sitting out here on the front porch and telling you all a story? Did I ever tell you the one about my friend Jack and his pa live out there by the Swanee River? They work a little farm for taters and corn and peas. But living out there by the river, they're real good at fishing too. So much so that them rich city slickers who come to Florida nowadays for fishing for sport, they pay 'em plenty to show 'em where all them bass and brim are hiding. Well, out there on the boat, when it gets real hot and kind of quiet like, Jack likes to tell stories about him and his pa hunting. Big old tall tales about how they'd stalk through the piney woods and scrub hunting wild hogs and panthers and bears. Now, in truth, Jack only hunted possums, maybe a raccoon every now and then. Didn't go anywhere near those big dangerous varmint. In fact, he was downright afraid of them. Now, Jack's pa warned him, "Son, if you don't back off of some of this here big talk about bears and panthers and such, one day you're going to talk yourself into so much more trouble you can talk yourself out of." But Jack kept it up. One day out on the boat, after listening to Jack's stories, 3 of their best and richest customers decided then and there to take Jack up on that bear hunt. Now, Jack realized he finally said too much, and in hopes of talking them out of the hunt, he named a right steep price. The 3 would-be hunters didn't care none. Not only did they agree to the price, they promised Jack and his pa a nice bonus for finding them a big old bear. Well, Jack and his pa talked this over, far from the ears of the hunters, of course. Now, they had no intention of tangling with the big old bear, not even for that heap of money. So what they did was, they decided they'd take the hunters out to an old island near the coast they knew of, where ain't no bear been seen in 50 years. They hoped they could entertain the hunters for a few days, and then leave them with some good stories and no hard feelings over not finding any bears. Well, the next day, loaded up with supplies and 3 right-eager bear hunters, they set out for the island. They spent the first night before the hunt in an old cabin. And early the next morning, Jack got up and announced, "While Pa's fixing breakfast, I'm going to go out and size up the situation." Well, he walked out with his old hunting rifle, figuring he'd go wander for an hour or so, then come back with some real good story. Well, Jack was ambling along, whistling a tune, feeling right good about the situation, when right in front of him, one of the biggest, meanest-looking bears you ever seen walked out of the palmetto bushes. Well, that bear let out a growl, something fearsome, and started running right towards Jack. Well, Jack's jaw dropped wide open. He turned tail and ran as fast as his feet would carry him back towards the cabin, throwing away his gun because it was just slowing him down. He rounded that corner, chest about to burst, saw the cabin just up ahead, and that bear was still hot on his tail. The front door was wide open, and his pa was outside gathering up some firewood for breakfast. Well, Jack ran for that door, but just as he made it to the front steps, he tripped and fell. Well, wouldn't you know, that old bear had picked that exact same instant to leap up for Jack, but instead sailed right over Jack's head and through the front door right into the cabin where the 3 hunters were. Well, Jack thought fast. He jumped up, slammed the door shut, and hollered out, "There's the first one! Y'all take care of him while I go round up another one." Well, now don't you fret now. The hunters made it out of the cabin in one piece, even though some of their good clothes were ruined, and they were good to their word about paying Jack and his pa their fee and the bonus. But before they left, they said, "Gentlemen, you can expect us back to do some Florida fishing, but don't you count on us to ever do any more bear hunting." Well, there's a true story, and I tell you what, ever since then, Jack's been a man of his word. And that's a good thing to remember. It might be better to tell the truth than to start telling tall tales. Well, either way, y'all, it's been a good time sitting here talking with you, but I'm about rested up, and them feels ain't going to work themselves. So I'll tell y'all a story next time. Good talking with y'all.